Hello everyone, introducing my name, William Jurgi from Team 9 and from class MB4808 with name 104012400330. Here I will present the material for week 15, namely the matrix. The substance is first, the definition and notation matrix, second order matrix, third matrix type, four matrix transpose, five operation matrix, six matrix determinant, seven matrix inverse, eight Cramer's rule, nine solution of linear equation system using matrix. Next. Definition notation matrix. Matrix is an array of numbers arranged in rows and columns and delimited by regular brackets like this or square bracket like this. Matrices are generally symbolized by capital letters. Example, this is a row and this is a column. Next, order matrix. Order is the size or dimension, which is a natural number that states the number of rows and columns in a matrix. Order is written as a multiplication of rows by consecutive columns. Here, M A multiplied by B. The order of the matrix M with many rows and many columns B. This is example, 5 column and 4 rows. Next, matrix types. Matrix have 6 types, and this is a square matrix like this. Row matrix is only one for row, and diagonal matrix is diagonal, and is this is off diagonal. Uh, this is a column matrix only for column like this. Zero matrix is same like a square matrix, but um, for only zero, yeah, inside. Yeah, and identity matrix is for diagonal matrix, but main diagonal is one. Next, matrix transpose. This matrix, the transpose of a matrix M, is denoted by M accent or MT, which is obtained by swiping the row and column elements of the matrix. If the matrix M is of order X, B, then the transpose of M is MT B multiply A. Um, Example, let's take the matrix example from the table of beef and the chicken nutritional content. We know this and this for sure, like this. Yes, and a first column like this. We change the row to the column and column to the row like this. And this. Change it. Next. Operation matrix. Matrix of operation are used to combine two or more matrices to form a single matrix. We can find the transpose and inverse of the matrix with the help of the operation of the matrix. The basic operation of the matrix are addition, subtraction, multiplication, inverse, and transpose. Now the importance of matrix operation from the below section. This is example of matrix addition and this sample for matrix subtractions, this and this, and this matrix multiplication, this matrix multiplication by this matrix, and here we are. And last is scalar multiplication with this. Next, matrix determinant. Determinant is a constant that belongs to a square matrix and is used to find the inverse of the matrix. Matrix determinants can also be used to find solution to system of linear equation. Determinant of matrix A write as that A or like this. Yeah. Determinants of matrix order 2 multiply 2. Like this A equals uh, A, B, C, D. This equals A, D subtract B, C. Uh, and determinant of matrix of order 3 multiply 3 is like this. This we put the diagonal from this, and off diagonal from this, yeah, like this, and equals this. A11, A22, A33 plus, yeah, and this subtract like this. Next, the matrix inverse. The matrix inverse belongs to a square matrix, so it holds A multiply A minus 1 equals I. The matrix inverse is defined by the formula below, where A is the determinant of matrix A and adjoint A is the adjoint of matrix A. This is almost 2 multiply 2 order matrix inverse. Let A be a 2 multiply 2 matrix. This is A equals A, B, C, D. The adjoint of matrix A is adjoint A equals uh, D uh, minus B minus C A. This is rules for the uh, 2 multiply 2 order matrix inverse. Next is 3 multiply 3 order matrix inverse. To find the inverse of a 3 multiplied 3 order matrix, we need to find adjoint of the matrix first. Suppose A is a 3 multiplied 3 order matrix that is like this. This is a 3 multiplied 3 order matrix. The adjoint of matrix A will have elements with the alternating negative and positive signs. For example, like this. Plus, min plus, and min plus min plus min plus. This is a cofactor between A. To find the elements of the adjoint of A, we must find the minor by closing the rows and columns corresponding to each element, then find the determinant of the 2 multiply 2 matrix form. Here minor, yeah, you can see. To find x11 plus the first row and first column. This plus this and this for the x11, and we find the E, F, H, I. This multiplied by this and this multiplied by this. Here we equals E, I subtract F, H like this. Find the minor for x11 to the n is x33 like this. Same step for every minor. If it's as x13, we equals the first row and the last column like this. Find this. And here was like this. This is a cofactor, and adjoint is here. Once the element of the adjoint of matrix A are known, the substitution them into the matrix inverse formula previously shown. This is Formula 1. Next, Cramer's rule. Cramer's rule states the value of the unknown variable x1 can be found by substituting a constant value vector C into the ith column of matrix A and then dividing the determinant of this new matrix by the determinant of the original matrix. It's it is denoted as follow x1 equals a I um, and divide a. Example like this: a equals 5, 0, 4, 3, 3, x equals x1, x2, and c 12, 21. Find the x1 by substituting the constant vector c into column 1 of matrix A, like this. And in it's the answer, like this. This formula is X. The last subtraction is solution of linear equation system using matrix. Linear equation consisting of m equation with n variable can be written as a m multiply n vector x and multiply 1 equals c m multiplied by 1. If m equals n and has an inverse, then the notation of the linear equation system can be written as a n multiply n multiply n multiply 1 equals c n multiplied by f1. The solution for the column vector x can be obtained by inverting matrix A is x n multiplied 1 equals A negative 1, A vector negative 1, n multiplied 9, n c n multiplied 1. Example, this x1 plus x2 subtract x3 equals 6. This determine the values of x1, x2, and x3. The answer is like this. Um, we write the only constanta and this is variable and c is a answer of this. This we put in the bracket this, and thank you for the attention.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Rishad Alfarel from class MB4808 and my student ID number is 104012400410 and I'm from team 9. Today I will be presenting the topic application of partial differential function. Key concept. Optimization with a constraint means finding the maximum or minimum of a function subject to one or more conditions. This is done using the Lagrange method, which introduces a new variable lambda to form the Lagrange function. Lagrange function, objective function, constraint the Lagrange. We find stationary points by solving. Example problem: find the extreme value of z equals x comma y subject to x plus 2y equals 10. The next slide. Solution using Lagrange. Using Lagrange method, define Lagrange. L of x comma y and lambda equals x time plus lambda times the quantity the minus x minus 2y. Take partial derivatives. Partial L respect to x equals y minus lambda equals 0. Partial L with respect to y equals x minus 2 lambda equals 0. Partial L with respect to lambda equals 10 minus x minus 2y equals 0. The final solution, x equals 5, y equals 2.5, and z equals 12.5. Solution. In summary, the Lagrange method is an effective way to optimize function with a constraint. It's widely used in real-world problem where decisions must be made under limited such as budget, time, or research. Thank you for today. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I will introduce myself. My name is Zaki Sultan Paneja. I'm from MB 48 8th class, and number is my number of student is 1004T 124 00139. Okay, for now, I will explain you guys about partial differential function. This is the material of week 11, and so we started from the partial differential. Okay, this is it. We got the y is f x z is x power of 3 plus 5z square minus 4x square z minus 6xz square plus 8z minus 7. Okay, for the example, we have fxxz is 3x square minus 8xz minus 6z square. And then the second is we have the fzxz is 10z minus 4x square minus 12xz plus 8. And then we combine it together to make the dy of fx xz dx plus fz xz dz. And the final answer is we can get 3x2 square minus 8xz minus 6z square dx plus 10z minus 4x2 square minus 12xz plus 8 dz. That's the total differential. And and the fx is the partial derivatives, and the fz is the partial differential. And then next to the application of the economics, we learn about marginal demand and partial demand elasticity, campaigns with two products, and combined production costs. Okay, first of all, we go to the cross elasticity or the marginal demand. The point of A is of goods. If goods A and B have a usage relationship with the demand function, it's about the partial derivative shows how demand change with respect to price changes. And then they have substitutes or some complements. It means like the demand for one can be influenced by the price or other. And then there we have the quantity demand A is the function of price A and B, and the quantity of demand B of a function with the price A and B. And the marginal demand is like the partial of derivative shows how demand changes with respect to a maybe a change of the price or something like that. And the point of D is like quantity demand A for a price A to respect the price A, and the next point is like the marginal demand for B with respect to price A, and the marginal quantity demand A for respect price B, and then the last one is the quantity of B demands B, sorry, like for respect price B. And the next is the partial demand elasticity. It's like the price of the elasticity of demand. Like they have elasticity demand A on elasticity demand A, and makes me like the same. This is the example, and the cross elasticity of demand is like the elasticity of demand for good A or for good B. And this is the description of the partial demand elasticity. This is the description is like if elasticity AB and BA less than zero for certain price A and price B, then goods A and B are complements. A decrease in the price of one good will be followed by the increase in the demand for both of us, both of them, sorry. And if the elasticity like a demand on AB or BA more than zero for certain price A and the certain price B, then goods A and B are substitutes, and they follow by increase in the demand for the good and decrease in the demand for the other good. And this is the example question. We have the function of for goods A and B represented by quantity demand on B, price A 2, price B 3, minus 1 and equals 0, and the quantity demands on B is price A 3, price B minus 1 equals 0. What is the elasticity of demand for each good, and what is the relationship between the two goods? Okay, let's see the answer. There's the answer. The quantity demands A is the final answer, and then the quantity demands B is the final answer. And then we search for the elasticity demand A. The final answer is good A is elastic because elasticity demand A more than 1, and then the elasticity demand B is unitary because it's equals 1, and the elasticity AB is minus 3, then elasticity BA is minus 3 also, because like the elasticity AB and the BA less than 0, goods A and B complements each other because you have the same. And then this is the other exercise. We have minus 0.4, sorry, and then the Q equals P is the same, and the PY is 0.4 and minus 0.4 is the same. And we search the determinates and determine the relationship between products X and Y. And this is the answer. Wait. Yeah, this is the answer. This is the answer of the quantity of demands A, and this is the quantity demands B. Sorry. Oh no, that's before. Sorry. This is the answer. And then this the last extreme values, maximum and minimum. We have the function is yfxz is 0 and the fxz is 0 too. And the maximum when fxx xz less than 0 and fszz xz less than 0 again, and the minimum is like is more than 0. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for the attention. See you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ganesha Sanggabuana Nugroho. Name 104012430056 class MB4808 team 9. Marginal cost, average cost, and marginal revenue. Learning objective and explain the definition of marginal cost, average cost, and marginal revenue. Understand the formula and how to calculate these three concepts. Interpret economic graph curves related to marginal cost, average cost, and marginal revenue. Analysis simple example problem for concept. Marginal cost, defining the additional cost incurred from producing one more unit of output. Formula. Explanation. Marginal cost measure how much extra cost is needed to produce an additional unit. It is important that determining the optional production level that costs do not extend marginal revenue, not change in total cost, change in quantity product. If marginal cost increases significant, it can indicate decreased efficiency. Marginal cost curve, the an example marginal cost curve. The marginal cost curve is used because initially unit cost decreased due to economic of scale after the minimum point cost increased due to maximum product capacity. Example problem total cost for 10 unit 1,011 units and 1,100,000. Answer. Marginal cost 100 millions and 1 million and 11 and 10 100s, meaning the additional cost to product the next unit is 100. If marginal cost, marginal revenue, and marginal cost, producing more is still profitable. Average cost, defining the average cost include to product each unit output. Formula. Explanation. Average cost indicates how much is spent and average to produce one unit. It helps determine selling price and production efficiency. When H decreases, the company is more efficient. If H increases, it might indicate capacity limits. An example average cost curve. The X curve is spread because initially unit costs fall as fixed costs are spread out, then is raised the two increases variable costs at full capacity. Average cost and example problem total cost for 20 unit and 2 million calculates answer at 2 million and 20 and 100, meaning the average cost and product one unit 100 is the selling price per unit as the company and profit. Marginal revenue and definition. The additional revenue gained from selling one more unit. Formula. Marginal revenue explains it. Marginal revenue is used the decision whether selling on more units increases total revenue. In perfect competition, marginal revenue is constant. In monopoly, marginal revenue decreases as output increases. And marginal revenue as example on perfect competition, marginal is a horizontal line, price is constant, monopoly margin slopes and downward, price must be lowered to sell more. Marginal revenue example, problem revenue for 5 unit 500 from 6 unit and 6 5 50 5 70 100 calculates marginal answer marginal revenue 5 20 100 500 and 20 1700 17 marginal revenue from the 6 unit 70 is marginal cost marginal revenue and marginal cost for the unit the sale is profitable and relation between marginal cost, average cost, and marginal revenue, increase production profit growth, decrease production average loss, and optimal production point maximum profit. Marginal cost interests of minimum point. This is the most efficient cost point. So conclusion, marginal cost and average cost and marginal revenue are crucial tools in production management used to determine optimal production quantity formula and grab help production cost and revenue change with output level. Company must compare marginal cost and marginal revenue for decision making. Thank you.
Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Alif Zaka Hairul Anam. I'm from class MB4808 and I'm from team 9. I'm going to talk about one of the fundamental topics in calculus, differentiation. I will cover the basic concept of derivative, their application, some techniques of differentiation, and also higher order derivatives. Next, first is basic concepts of derivatives. A derivative measures how a function changes with respect to its input variable. It shows the rate of change of a function relative to the independent variable. For example, change over time, the derivative of position is velocity. And this is the rate of change. This up is the position and this right is time. Next, slope and rate of change. A graph shows the relationship between unemployment and inflation. The rate of change inflation with respect to unemployment is represented by the derivatives on the graph. The slope of the curve at a point is the value of the derivative. Example, estimate the slope when unemployment is 3% and when it is 10%. And this is the curve of the slope and rate of change. This is the I, the inflation, and this is the U, the unemployment. And this is the percent, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%. And next. Okay, in the next slide, we have notation and basic rules. The derivative can be written as fx or dy per dx, but representing the rate of change of a function with respect to x. One basic rule is the derivative x and s and x and mean 1. The derivative of a constant is 0, since constants do not change with x. Next, in the next slide, we have differentiation techniques. So, several rules are used to differentiate function. The sum and difference rules allow us to take the derivative term by term. The product and quotient rules apply when functions are multiplied or divided. One important method is the chain rule, which is used when differentiating a composition of a function. So this is the fx is fg plus fg, f per g is fg minus fg, where g2 is dy per d is dy per dx. Okay, we go to the next slide. So in the next slide, we have higher derivatives. The second derivative shows how the rate of change is changing, often used to determine curve shape. Higher order derivatives are used in advanced analysis and like acceleration or vibration. So this is the higher derivatives, the second derivatives, and higher order derivatives. So we go to the next slide. In the next slide, we have application of derivatives. Derivatives have a wide range of real-life applications. In physics, they are used to calculate velocity and acceleration. In economics, derivatives helps in analyzing cost and profit function to make informed business decision. In biology, they are used to model population growth and change over time. In engineering, derivatives are essential in modeling motion, vibration, and system dynamics. So, go to the next slide. In this slide, we have common mistake in differentiation. When learning differentiation, students often make a few common mistakes. One frequent error is forgetting to apply the chain rule. When differentiating composite function, another is using the power rule incorrectly, especially with negative or fractional exponents. Some students confuse the product and question rules or forget them entirely. It's also important not to ignore the domain of a function when taking its derivative. Okay, next slide. Next slide, we have summary of differentiation rules. There are several case rules in differentiation that help simplify the process. The power rule states that the constant rule says the derivative of a constant is zero. The sum rule allows us to differentiate terms separately, while the product and equation rules are used for multiplying and dividing functions. Lastly, the chain rule is used for differentiating composite functions, and it is one of the most important rules in calculus. Next. Next, we have chain rule. The chain rule is used when we want to differentiate composite function, which is a function within another function. This rule states that we must multiply the derivative of the outer function by the derivative of the inner function. Its application is essential in more complex situation where the chain rule allows us to function that involve layers of operation, such as exponential, trigonometry, or logarithmic functions composed with polynomials. This is the chain rule. The chain rule is used when we want to differentiate a composite function, which is a function within another function. So the conclusion is derivative describe how quantities change, a key concept in calculus. Techniques like the power rule, chain rule, and higher order derivative helps analyze real-world problems. Understanding derivative is essential for studying motion, growth, and change in many fields. Okay, so that's all for my presentation. I hope this has helped understand the core ideas of differentiation and how it's applied in real world problems. Okay, thank you for your attention and see you guys later. Thank you.